Hey, all you cool cats and kittens out there. I just wanted to go through the answers from yesterday's assignment just to make sure that we are all on the same page because this information is very important before we start reading. So, a little bit about Dante to begin. He was born in Florence, Italy in 1265, where there was a lot of political turbulence at this time. Um, Italy, or Florence, I should say, was divided into two groups, the white faction and the black faction. Dante supported the white faction, and the Pope at the time supported the blacks. So, because he supported the group that the Pope didn't, he was therefore exiled from Florence and never to return. Um, Florence and his homeland meant a lot to Dante, so his exile affected him tremendously. It ended up being the reason why he wrote the Inferno in the first place. Beatrice, while he may have only seen her twice in his entire life, she became somewhat of a love interest to Dante. He claims that she helped him lead him out of despair and to become a better man, so she will be seen frequently throughout his writings. I had a couple questions regarding the Divine Comedy background section yesterday, and I was telling people to think of the Divine Comedy as a trilogy, okay, a writing of three parts. The Inferno is the first of these three parts. The Inferno is Dante's journey through hell. The second part is called the Purgatory, where you are making your way out of hell and towards heaven. And then the third and final part is called the Paradise, which is really just his journey through heaven and reaching salvation. We are only reading the Inferno in class, so that's the only thing you have to worry about. Dante is obsessed with the number three, which comes from the Christian concept of the Holy Trinity, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. You will see the number three pop up frequently throughout the Inferno, so make sure you keep an eye out for that. There are technically 34 cantos in the Inferno, but Canto 1 is the only one that takes place on Earth before his journey begins. So some critics don't really include that. Dante wanted each part of the Divine Comedy to consist of 33 cantos because apparently two threes are better than one, obviously. Dante is led through hell by Virgil. Okay, he is the author of the Aeneid. Dante really admired Virgil's writing and somewhat copied his writing style and his own. And you can only have somebody lead you through hell who currently lives there. Virgil didn't necessarily do anything wrong in his life to get him a place in hell. The only thing that he did was that he lived and died before Jesus Christ. So if you lived and died before Christ, you can't really know and accept him, which is a sin to Dante. So Dante placed Virgil in limbo, and now Virgil is becoming his guide through hell. If you have questions about that, we could talk about that separately. The sinners in the Inferno as a whole are really just warnings to Dante for him to change his life for the better. Because of his journey through hell, Dante will now know how to live righteously and without sin. Now, for the Inferno itself, hell is organized according to the gravity of the sin. Ideally, the farther you descend into hell, the worse the sin and the punishments become. Again, this is all according to Dante, though. You may find yourself reading and being like, hey, we're in the eighth circle of hell, and I don't really think that that's that bad. This is all Dante's opinion, okay? What he thinks is the worst sins. Limbo, I already briefly mentioned this as far as Virgil, but limbo is the first section of hell where non-Christian, unbaptized people reside. Like Virgil, many of these people lived and died before Christ existed, which isn't necessarily their fault, but Dante felt like they needed to reside in hell since they didn't know and accept Christ. There's no punishment in limbo, which is a good thing. The only punishment is that they aren't allowed into heaven and they aren't allowed to know Christ. In the lowest depth of hell, you will find Lucifer, who is the ultimate betrayer of Jesus Christ, and that is the lowest circle is for all traitors in life. So Lucifer will be seen there. That is also just another name for the devil. We'll get there in Canto 34. If you have any other questions, please